Hi, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People. Anytime you make an argument, especially a political argument of some sort, you are automatically, whether you want to or not, you are providing your opponent some information about your framework. So sometimes you're providing them your entire framework. If I say, we should issue our police officers more and more military weapons because our safety is the most important thing, and we can trust police officers to keep us safe. Then they've made framework arguments there. They've said, number one, safety is the most important thing. That's their framework. We should determine what makes people the most safe. That's how we should answer this question about whether or not we should give the cops more machine guns. So then you know that if you're going to win under that framework, you're going to have to show that, in fact, giving cops machine guns makes things less safe. But they're also saying that we can trust the cops to keep us safe. That's the other point they're saying, is the cops are trustworthy. So they're both under the same framework. The cops' trustworthiness is meaningless under this framework unless it helps keep us safe. Because the most important thing is safety. And that should be, whoever piles up the most safety should win the point. So the trustworthiness point is only relevant if well, it will become relevant because it's kind of a spike, right? He's basically saying, I know you're going to say we can't trust police officers, but we can trust them. So I'm spiking that right now. Yes, we can trust them. Okay, so I don't have to attack on that angle, though. I can say, well, we can trust them, but we can trust them to be human beings who make mistakes, and the more times they're handling large weapons, the more necessarily large numbers tell us there will be some accidents. The number of accidents will increase. I could make that kind of an argument, right? Or I could attack the trustworthy point. I don't have to beat the trustworthy point to win under the framework of danger or safety. Okay, so that's an example of somebody issuing a framework unintentionally. They didn't know they were saying what the framework was, but that's kind of like their argument, is like to assume their framework, assume that their position is consistent with this framework. And, okay, so fine. What does it mean to pick a framework? Well, when you were talking about public policy, you need to eventually get yourself down to your core framework you're arguing under. You don't want to try to argue under different frameworks for different circumstances. If you want to make a distinction between foreign and domestic policy, that's fine. I make that distinction as well. And the reason is because the nation itself is not a moral agent, except insofar as all of the nation, each individual has a moral responsibility to be politically engaged, I guess. I don't know about that last statement, but the point is, I agree that foreign policy has to be adjudicated under a different metric. Okay? And so I'll concede that point, that you want to have a different framework for foreign policy. That's a fine thing to do, but see, you need to have a meta framework to explain why your frameworks are different, which I do. I have all that shit in place. If you don't have all this shit in place, you can't explain why your frameworks are different. Well, why do you treat that country so differently than this country? Then you shouldn't have any position about it. You don't have a position about it. What you have is a team affiliation. Okay. So that's why it's important to be direct and explicit about your framework. If your framework, and most people's, is utilitarianism, which says, well, I think the government should do this because I think it's going to have good outcomes. If that's your argument, then be explicit in saying, look, you can go in and sort of frame things by saying, in the contemporary world, the economy and the society in general has sort of grown around this body of public interest known as government. It's really, really difficult to imagine having a healthy tree that we remove from the center of it, this thing that's growing around. A lot of components of the tree are dependent upon these elements. It's done its job well. It's provided a set of regulatory limits that has allowed American businesses to thrive and the American people to have a high standard of living comparatively to a lot of places. And most importantly, for Americans to have a fair opportunity to create their own wealth or to profit by working for another wealth creator. These are good signs that the government's doing something right. Okay? To the extent that we have a highly profitable economy, or not profitable, but to the extent that people are making money, the government's doing something right as far as protecting the free market system. It's not doing anything to help people make money. Its behaviors are not helping the people make any money at all. What they're doing is they're preventing unfair, anti-competitive practices from allowing some individuals to use non-competitive advantages to destroy the cleansing power of the competitive free market. So that's a way you can look at that, right? I got a little off topic there. What am I supposed to be talking about? Framework and stuff. I'm starving. I gotta go eat. I'm done with this right now. I feel suddenly physically sick.